Hello, it's Alyssa here. I am a conscious evolution coach for creative nonconformists, and I am about to share some inspiration with you that I have wanted to do for quite a while. I have actually done something with this book before. I called it a prosperity series, and but it was like 2 years ago, and this book has been calling to me again. And I feel really strongly called to speak about money because it is such a topic that people have a lot of fucking shit attached to that prevents them from truly being fucking rich and being wealthy. And I'm really passionate about heart-centered people having a lot of fucking money, because I know that money is an amplifier. So whoever you are, if you have more of the resources that you need to do your work in the world, you're going to be able to do more. You're going to have a greater impact. So if you're a good person and you have a lot of money, you're probably going to do some good shit, right? And I just feel so strongly that money needs to be like talked about more. And Jen Sincero, I believe that's how you say her name, in this book she says money needs to be decriminalized. Okay, so all of us have ideas around money, and most of us have grown up with ideas that don't fucking help us around money. And I myself grew up in pretty severe poverty consciousness, and I received a lot of messages that money is not something to be desired. Like money is not something that we really need very much of, and if we do have it, then we should be giving it to the church that I was involved in when I was growing up. That it was like greedy, bad, or wrong to want a lot of money. I encourage you to ask yourself, what messages have you received around money? Because I feel so strongly that this needs to be fucking like dismantled, and I am super passionate about redefining things, and this is part of my gift and a part of my magic. I believe that we're all magical, and then we all have different gifts, and one of mine is taking a concept or an idea or whatever and like completely fucking turning it on its head and like redefining it and blowing my mind with, or blowing your mind with how I'm thinking of it differently, and I enjoy that just as much when someone else can do that for me. So essentially it's like causing cognitive dissonance all the time and like disrupting shit and blowing up paradigms and just like breaking through limiting beliefs and really opening up to the idea and stepping into living a life where anything is possible. I'm really, really passionate about this, and I want people that are good, fucking amazing, badass, heart-centered, highly creative people to have a lot of fucking money. And so many people that I have come across in like the online coaching and spiritual world that I've been part of for so many years have a entanglement of like these ideas that being spiritual means that you can't make a lot of money, even though a lot of times it's very unconscious. You may not, be actively expressing this, but it shows up in that, in the sense that you're not making money in your business with your spiritual gifts, or you're not making as much as you should be because you're not valuing yourself. So money and love are synonymous. Money is love. And I want you to really take that in. You can really look at your life right now and ask yourself, is the money, the resources, and like the opportunities in my life, do they reflect, are they an accurate reflection of how much I value myself? Because they just are. And another thing too, like you might say in response to that, well, Alyssa, what about people who have a fuck ton of money and they're shitty people? Well, what I can say to that is that oftentimes that's just a product of their own programming and conditioning. There are many people too that, do appear to have a lot of money and resources that don't, necessarily feel good about themselves, but they have been programmed to think differently around money. And so money shows up in their life in certain ways because of their programming. And that can also, look like, they can still be having an internal experience of feeling, like lack and constriction, like there's not enough, even though they do have the money to prove externally that there is enough. But that's, just some of what I want to talk about money. And I know some of those things can maybe sound contradictory, but that's also an essential truth, is that life is a contradiction, and it is paradoxical in nature. And when you can sit with that paradox, and you can sit with the contradictory nature of the universe, and fucking reconcile that within yourself, then you have attained true mastery. So just keep that in mind. If I'm saying stuff that's contradicting, that's how I'm gonna make the excuse for myself that it's okay. So I wanted to talk about, just about this first chapter in You Are a Badass at Making Money. And I'm going to continue to go through this book and be making videos all the way through the end. This is something that I've been inspired to do and had the message, the intuitive knowing to do for a long fucking time, like years, to grab all my books and do videos on them. And I've ignored it until now. So also something that you might find in your experience is that the things that you resist the most are the things that you are meant to be doing the most. Desire and fear are usually intimately entangled, and that's just how it is. So I want to just share with you just a couple of the things that I found to be really important that Jen talks about in this first chapter, which is called Allowance. So the main theme of this chapter is like, will you allow yourself to have what you truly want? Because most of us don't. Most of us actually allow what others believe that we should have dictate what we have in our lives. And that's fucked up. That's fucking bullshit. Like, you get to have all that you want, all that you desire. And that is something that I know that I have come up against time and time again, where I can speak about, or maybe you can identify the things that you desire. Like, you may be very clear on what you want. You may be saying like, oh, Alyssa, I know exactly what I want. I just don't have it in my life right now, or I don't have it yet, or it's not coming fast enough, or whatever, right? So in my experience, identifying and asking yourself, what the fuck do you really want, is the first step for sure. You need to have that awareness and that clarity, right? But will you allow yourself to have it? For the longest time, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I'm still, and I always will be, pushing up against the edges of what I am thinking is my capacity to receive and allow in my life and my desires. Some of the things that came into fruition in my life just in the past few months are things that just like popped into my existence, into my physical reality that I was talking about forever, saying that I wanted, but I wasn't allowing myself to have them. I finally allowed myself to have those things. Specifically for me, they're going to look different than it is for you, right? Like mine were very specific physical manifestations that were like kind of tools that I wanted in my life, like a dirt bike and a DJ controller and, you know, a way to do aerial yoga. So there were very specific things that I wasn't allowing myself to have those tools yet. So that's one thing I want you to ask yourself is like, do I know what I want? And will I allow myself to have that? Because that's a huge part that's intimately related to money. You know, are we allowing ourselves to have it? And then the ideas that we have around money, like, is it like who will I become if I have more money? Like I said at the beginning of this video, money is an amplifier. So who you will become is more of you. You know, you can, you know, some people, you know, you could project onto money and blame money for fucking them up, but really it's going to be an amplifier. If you have a good heart, you want to do, you know, big things in the world, you want to have a fucking influence and an impact, you need the resources to do that, right? You need people paying you for your work in the world. You can, you know, explode your impact and influence them with the more resources, more money that you have. Some people will also argue that if you don't, like, I don't need a lot. Like, I don't need to have, like, a big-ass house and blah, 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 right? Well, that's the thing, is you get to just have whatever the fuck you want. You really, really can. You really can do that. So what being rich looks like for one person may be completely different for another person, right? One person, it may look like having all my survival needs met and being able to, you know, splurge on certain things and then being able to take some trips. It's basically about having the fucking resources to live your best life, which is not going to look like anyone else's. Some people are going to need a lot more money than others. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else that I can see if it stands out in here. So a healthy desire for wealth is not greed. It's a desire for life. And I really love that because we are trained to believe that wanting money is bad. There's something about that that's bad. And there's a reason behind that. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but we get to have whatever the fuck we want. And trusting that our desires are in our heart for a reason. Like you don't want the things that you want just like randomly. They're placed within you because you are meant to experience it. You are a slice of divinity. You are a slice of the whole that has come to experience itself in this slice, in this aspect, in this very, very individuated, unique expression that is you, that will never again exist and has never existed before. And to fucking waste that opportunity that is never to be again, that has never happened before, is fucking bullshit. And I don't want to, you know, sit idly by and not express that and instill that in you now, and to continue to do that. That's what I'm about here. All of Mother Nature's creatures are designed to fully flourish before they drop dead. Yes, we're going to be, you know, it's like we only have who knows how much time. Why don't you just fucking live it? Live it. Let's see. So I love this. I'm gonna end this video with this passage because it's just so fucking good. This gave me truth bumps, goosebumps all over my body reading this, because this is so true. Okay, think about it. Just standing next to someone who is being totally who they are, who is lit up by life, who goes for it fully, who believes that anything is possible, who is excited to be in on the adventure of spinning around on this planet, who allows themselves to look stupid, to fail, to succeed, to be rich, to be generous, to basically be, do, and have all the things and experiences that make them the most of themselves. It makes you feel like you could go out and flip over a car, right? So why not be that for someone else by being the most that you can be too? Have you ever had someone say that to you? Or have you ever been around someone like that? Have you ever had someone say that, you know, hey, you really fucking inspired me? Or you just make me, like, just being in your energy just makes me light up and I feel good. Or have you been on the receiving end of that, or both? Like, that's the most powerful shit. I love it. So, the last page of this chapter, Jen gives a money mantra, which I love. And her money mantra is, I love money because I love myself. So I encourage you to start to see money as a symbol of your own love, as a symbol of self-worth and nurturing, and as a symbol of the amplification of your gifts, the amplification of your essence, as a tool, as a resource. Money gets to be the energy in which your formless comes into form. Okay? So thank you so much for watching this. I hope that it inspired you and helped you to redefine how you think about money. And please come back for chapter 2, which is called Why You Ain't Rolling in the Cheddar Yet. I'm going to keep doing these. It's fun. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.